Yo, yo, welcome, welcome. So apparently this works. And does this work? Hmm. So I'm trying to also stream on Twitch, but hmm, seems to not really gonna go online. Do I want to fix that? I mean, I'm not already streaming on YouTube, so yeah, I think that was like a one-time thing. Let's actually check youtube.com/CocoCry to see if the stream is actually going, and it seems to be going. Nice. All right. Cool. So, what are you doing? We are basically, as you can see in the thumbnail, so as you can see, we're doing message layer security, but not really. So it's like we're preparing very much to do that because there are a lot of steps. And by the way, message layer security is just like a protocol to securely establish encrypted connections via like group chats or like for group chats, and it can also be used for chats that are not groups but just two people. So that's what we're going to be using. Let me actually quickly go to here and pop out le chat. So pop out chat. Hello, Frocky, 45. Why can't I zoom in? Can literally not zoom in, okay. I don't know. Why? What the fuck? No. What the? Oh my god. Hello. After carefully thinking, I installed Fedora Linux. Not bad. Not bad. Hey, what's up, Blue Pepper? What's up? What's up? Okay, let's put the browser somewhere here, and yeah, okay, like that. Oh, I don't even have a cam, so I can just do that, and you can actually see stuff. Okay, that's great. That's great. So let's go to Faith, and let's actually see what the current state is, because the current state has been basically fully rewritten. So if you maybe were there in recent streams, we basically had one amalgamated file, faithd, which was like 4,000 lines of code, and then client, which was like 3,000 lines of code. But now look how clean that is. So faithd just does parsing the options, checking is the options just normal options, or do we just want to print help? If we just want to print help, we just exit, and else it's not normal and we don't want to print help, so options are invalid. So that's basically that kind of cool thing, right? And then those options are just like used, and we just call those functions, and yeah, we can basically just construct the server like that, and the entire basically code base is yeah, abstracted away. There are like very many files, as you can see. Hello, hello. Could you please do a future video on Wayland widgets? What do you mean with Wayland widgets? Like coding them, or I don't know. Yeah, and what I wanted to do today is I have a like this file. It's basically specifying all the valid envelopes in the protocol. And envelopes are basically just containers of data inside of the binary protocol that are valid, essentially. And yes, from scratch, that would be like a cool video, I know, but I really want to continue this project. Like, this is a great, like, this is video bait essentially, because Or like, you know, like writing Wayland widgets from scratch, like in C or something. Yeah, sounds kind of cool, very interesting. But I have to stay focused on fucking instant messaging, right? So that's just how it is. So what I wanted to say, the envelopes are all related, as you can see, like hello, hello, okay. Okay, those are a little bit like I think they're even not even really used at all. But like this is also a auth related envelope. This is an auth related envelope. Then here we also have auth related envelopes. Those are all like with like device linking and stuff like that. And this is like also auth related, like at least lifecycle related of the client. But we don't have any envelopes that are like that are involved with like authorized clients that actually got authorized and now want to use the application. And what I want to do, you see, what I want to do is I don't want, like, for example, imagine someone wants to create a conversation, you know, they want to just talk to another person. They would need to send the server an envelope like create conversation, you know. But this gets very out of hand very fast because you would have an infinite amount of envelopes essentially, because only for that, okay, so create conversation, then you will probably need create conversation failed, create conversation successful, which gets sent by the server, and then like create conversation acknowledged or stuff like that, you know. It gets really out of hand, and this is just for one specific thing. But then you want to have something like, I don't know, invite member into a server or some shit. And this will also have like a bunch of things needed, like handling, I don't know, like status codes and stuff like that. So I don't really want to do that. And what I want to do is written down in my architecture paper, which is not an architecture, it's just like, you know, some notes. I am going to program my app in Java IntelliJ Android Studio. That's cool. Ciao. Yes, sure. Sorry to bother you. If you have time in the future, please consider it. I will, man. Yeah, so basically, did I just wrote down this? So what I want in the future, or what I want to implement now, you know, instead of having this bureaucracy that I mentioned, that you have like create conversation, close conversation, all of those envelopes, you have just two envelopes. Like, not really two, but two main envelopes: command and event, right? And this is like the usual way how it's done. So the protocol, like the envelope kind of layer of the protocol, has another deeper layer that is command and event, you know. And so because like the first layer of the protocol is frames, so frames and then envelopes and then commands or events. And so what is a command, you might like wonder. A command is basically an authorized client. So authorized client, so command authorized client. And second, like, there should be probably a lot of different things we have to check, but they definitely need to be authorized. And it's something that requests to change persistent state, right? Essentially. And that's basically it. So it's basically the client sending the server a request to change persistent state, like for example, to create a conversation, to create an invite or something like that. Vim setup as an IDE is crazy. At this point, just use an IDE with the Vim keybinds. I don't know, like I just use NVim, so why not? Right, and an event is something that the server sends to the client, and it's basically telling the client that some shit happened. Telling the client that something happened. you know. And yeah, so that's basically the idea. And they will encompass, for example, the event itself will be something like, I don't know, faith event t, and it will have like an, I don't know, maybe a event ID and also a type and something like, yeah, just that for now, or like probably something like data, right? Data size. Yo, Coco, how's everything going? You good? Yeah, I'm good. Thank you for asking. Right. So faith event and a faith command will, by the way, command will also have a command ID. And let me think, probably also like data and data size and type. So yeah, that's essentially it. And yeah, and then we will also need like a command result envelope, because that's basically something that gets sent by the server back to the client with the respective command ID, so that the client can map back the command, so they can know what command was actually meant with that, and if it's like, you know, if it was like valid, is everything good with the command, did the server accept it, or is it like rejected, you know? Yeah. And then also like conversation ID would probably be something like void pointer data and stuff like that. Right? So far the idea. All right, so let's implement it. Basically, let's have a faith envelope command 16. And let's also have a faith envelope command result. Right? My new Vim config, it's just in here, so github.com/pokocry/dots. But in the dots there is only my theme, because the rest of the config is just nvchat. But the theme is the only thing I really made. Yo, what's up? Welcome, Alltech. Welcome. So, and then let's have something like events. Right? And we kind of like at this point definitely need to implement some kind of sequencing, you know. And I actually don't really know how to do that. Hope everyone is doing well. You too, Coco. Yeah, I'm doing good. Thanks, buddy. No problem. Right. So where do we want to actually define the envelopes for that kind of stuff? Hallo Freund, welcome, Penguin Operator. Glad to see you here. My moderator. Nice. Right. So I don't know, is there like a good name for, I'm thinking of a name for this type of thing. Like the codecs will, or like they will be in here in protocol. Do we want to do a separate folder for just that? I don't really know. Maybe they can even be in the core envelopes, because they are basically core envelopes. I'm here procrastinating instead of studying for my exam tomorrow. It's Java. You have Java exams? That's insane. Okay, so faith, should we just call it faith envelope? like we have this naming convention, you see. So in probably in envelopes, yeah. So it's always like faith envelope, then who sends it to who, and then the name. So we should keep that naming convention, I guess. So let's just do that. So server to client event t and envelope client to server command t. And then also envelope server to client event result, not event result, command results, right? To notify them what actually happens. Right. And everyone should like, by the way, who should generate the command ID? The client, right? So we will need some kind of type def struct faith command IDT, and it will be a 16 bytes of like 128 bits of command. So let's say faith command ID size is going to be 16, and this will be bytes faith command ID size, and the event, like we will probably, do we need an event ID? I don't really know. We should though, probably. So command ID ID or command ID, and this also needs the same command ID, and yeah, then we should probably have command types and stuff, right? So we will also do an X macro. So let's just copy some X macro stuff so that we don't have to write it again. Coco, if you wrote a software with multiple components running as threads, how would you handle logging for them all? So you have multiple threads. Yeah, I guess I would just do it in a fully like global way, right? So can you not just log stuff, like in what kind of programming language? Because can't you just log stuff from any kind of thread and it will work? Or does it have to be in the same order? Is like ordering, does that matter? Yeah, but I don't really know even. Hi, and you said, who are you? I saw that, dude. NDIUK. Yeah, so who am I? That's a great question. Let's have the faith command types. Faith command. Okay, so let's, like, what would be one interesting command? What would be an interesting command? Create conversation. It's cool that it's written in C. Sorry, I don't speak English well. No problem. You like it auto translates even. I wanted to say that. How are you? Ah, I see. Ordering doesn't matter, but if two threads write at the same time, they overlap. Then use a mutex, right? Or like some kind of way to atomically do the operation. But I just forgot myself. It's Russian, right? Or Ukrainian, or I don't know. Okay, so that's basically the only command we kind of have. And so let's have a fucking command type and a faith space bar. Spacebar, yes. Faith command types. Yeah, it's only auto translating for me because I'm just better. No, like because I just have the setting enabled. Yeah, you can enable it inside of the pop out window. Yeah. All right. So command type, and do we have a faith command type t type, and then the result, we want to also actually specify the type in here, you know. And let's also have a fucking X macro for command result. So command results, and it will be faith command results, command results, result rejected and accepted. Accept the fucking command, right? So, right, okay. Command results, faith command results t, and the command result will have a faith command result t results. The result of the command accepted or rejected, and then the kind of the command, the ID of the command that is associated, that is referred to by this result. I don't know if you write it referred like that. Referred. Referred or referred. So you can write both. Even referred with double R? What? I mean, okay, with double R, yeah. All right, I guess. So I think I'll just do that. I would love to learn Russian. It sounds so menacing, even though it isn't. Yeah, that's definitely true. So that's the command result, and the command definitely needs some data. So let's have a payload size, and the event also needs some data, and also some kind of type, right? So let's have a faith command results. By the way, faith command, faith command, not faith events, right? And events that can happen is faith event, but events is very like, you know, like we're hogging that. I mean, if the client also wants something like that, I think they even do. Okay, event types, but it's very broadly speaking, you know. So let's maybe say faith event bro. Faith envelope events, or event and envelope events, I guess. Conversation created is one event, right? So like the client will basically create conversation, then there will be accepted, like command result accepted, and then we will get the event conversation created, right? And that's basically that. Okay, so let's have, do we want an event ID? I don't really know. We will kind of need a sequence ID. I don't know how that is done. Like, I didn't really look into that. Protocol sequencing. Oh my god. Network protocol sequencing. Order the range of messages, state flags, and data bytes exemplified by the trend. Yeah. But can you? Okay, so because I was like thinking that we just assign every command a sequence ID. Okay, let me think that through. So client just says, but a client generated sequence ID is kind of sus. So let's maybe say the client. Do commands even need sequencing? Events will probably need sequencing. So events get sent to the client, and the client needs to check, like they need to keep a event sequence counter, you know, and they need to check if my sequence counter, if the event sequence counter is less than my counter, then the sequence has broken, you know? And maybe also even not equal to, right? And then the server somehow just sequences them, you know? Just by monotonically increasing integer. Gotta go, gang. As much as I would enjoy watching this, no problem, man. So go learn for your Java exam, right? I want to learn C. Can you suggest some project to learn while building? Implement. So there's like a very easy beginner project. So basically you can implement SSL. You know SSL? Not really SSL, I mean TLS, right? So TLS. It's like, I would say 500 line project. Basically implement something that serves TLS, right? So a library that serves TLS. I think that's a good beginner project, right? Yeah. So okay. So do we want? We don't want that here. Let's have this in event, and let's have the event also have arbitrary data. Excitement. Yeah, no problem, man. No problem. Will be like a weekend project, I think. What do you think about learning TUI with Rust? Learning TUI. Like learning the concept of terminal user interfaces. I guess, so why not? Yeah, why not? I don't really have any opinion on that, so to make them. Yeah, it's going to be pretty fun, I guess. Yeah, do it. But C, I think, is maybe more fun. I don't know. It's just a personal opinion, I think. So yeah. Do we also have the events type? Yeah. Boip. So why is it unknown type name faith event type T? So why did it like autocomplete? So events, I see. Okay, so command result. Right, so we just didn't copy it. So let's have the events. And let's have a faith event type T. But there is already, yeah, in client. Oh my god. Okay. So we should say faith envelope, or like envelope, you know, because the envelope, this thing is kind of standardized for real envelope structures. So let's say faith envelope event, or event envelope, I guess. because it's not really, you know. So events envelope, and then let's have a faith event envelope type T. Where is Cam? Yeah, I'm streaming without Cam today. Yeah, I just decided not to. So it's interesting that people actually care. Yeah. The sequence number is sequence number, basically. Why? No way, no way. The sequence number of this event. The server generated sequence number of this event. The type of the event. The data of the event. Documentation be like, right? The data size of the event. Fucking hell. Envelope server decline command. Okay. The ID of the command. The client generated ID of the command, and the command, the payload data of the command, payload data size of the command. Okay, I think of the command, you know, so I don't know, like, should we? I don't know, like, this feels very unnecessary. Should we just do that because this is the only thing that actually provides any knowledge to the reader? Yeah, I think we should. All right, so let's write codex. Till when do you think this project will be completed? I think like 2 months is a good estimate. 2 months more, because I have to implement MLS. By the way, so the thumbnail, it's telling you MLS, right? So there is MLS PP. And it's made by Cisco, the company Cisco. And I don't know if you heard about MLS, but message layer. So wait. MLS. Major League Soccer. Security. So it's basically is a security layer for end-to-end encrypted messages. It is maintained by the MLS working group of the Internet Engineering Task Force, by the way, no? And is designed to provide an efficient and practical security mechanism for groups as large as 50,000 and for those who access chat systems from multiple devices. So that's essentially a message layer security, right? And it's a standard that you can implement on top of another protocol, essentially, and we're doing that. And they have a full design document of the entire thing, and it's pretty long. It's like very long. But actually, so we will implement it ourselves because, like, look, there is no C library for the MLS, so there is literally no implementation that is written in C for MLS. There is none, like literally none. And this is the main implementation that people use. And look how large it is. So it's definitely implementable. And we will implement our own thing because, like, you know, I don't want to do this interrupt with the C++. And yeah, so the only real piece of code that exists here is this library, which is like 200,000 lines. but it's just a library for cryptographic stuff. So yeah. And I think, is it a source? So the source isn't even that big, so what is it? So what is it for real? Test? Is it test? So the tests are this big, so it's, by the way, basically just generated shit that is that big, or what? Certificate? So what file is that big? Real? What? What is up with that? Test vectors? Oh, I see. Oh, so it's just that. So it's literally not even big at all. Not even the libraries are big. Because if you clock here, look, like most of it is this file. And yeah, it's definitely implementable, you know? Yeah. And we will do that as part of the next streams. A monospace font as default font for the browser is something. Yeah, it is. But I like it. It's actually the same font that I use in my terminal, so it fits together. And also, as you can see, there is no like bullshit with rounded corners, so everything is not round. And yeah. Yeah. Okay, so do we have the envelopes? Yeah, we have the envelopes. So let's do the codecs. Let's do the fucking codecs, man. Where is codec? Protocol. Right. So I would like a tool. Bro, Ragnar has this feature. Look, I implemented it once. You can actually just do that, like a normie would. I always like, I always like, each time I remember I have this feature, I'm like very surprised. Okay, but we have to actually fucking get going. So yeah, let's write encode and decode, and let's replace hello challenge with okay, so like that, with challenge with what is the name of the thing? I already forgot. Event? I think event. Let's say command. Yeah. And this thing should exist. So command T, but it's not server to client. So that makes sense. So let's have client to server. And all right, so decode command body, encode command body. Yeah, like having a generator for this is almost mandatory, but it's not really, because as I explained earlier, we will not add more envelopes after that. Like we will be very cautious with adding more envelopes, because most of the things will be commands and events. So, but they also will need codecs, so that's a problem, I guess. Command, is it going to be command result? Okay, let me actually quickly speed run this. Okay, speedrun done, right? It's not even command result, command, and event. That's literally it. That's literally fucking it, mate. Yeah, it would be kind of problematic if commands overlap, but that shouldn't happen, I guess. No, it's literally 128-bit integers. All right, so let's write down. I kind of want to have a stream where I just write a small tool that generates that. You know, would it be a cool stream? I don't know. Generate header files and C files, like also the implementations, because they all use the same API basically. And the fucking sizes, mate. Oh my god. So right, so I have to now actually make a macro like faith envelope serve the client, and then like where are those sizes? They're like spread because obviously, yeah, makes sense, right? So this kind of thing, and it's really annoying. So server to client event body size, and it's going to be faith body size. So is it in core/core body size? Yeah, faith body size, and in here it's going to be body size, and yeah, so then we will see like what is the event. Right, and then we will need size of UN64T plus size of UN32T plus size of, and then like it does, okay, it's even like, oh my god, bro. So this will be body size fixed, and we will say sequence number and type, and this will be like that, this will be like that, and everything's fine like that. So this is the fixed body size that's always there, but the max body size is a different thing. So do we enforce max body size? Not really. I mean, an event doesn't really need a max body size because it's not even untrusted. So that's just going to be the fixed body size, and all of the rest is just allocated, and we just check, is it at least this size? So, right, okay. And then the command. Right, so let's have faith envelope client to server command, and it's going to be size of UN32T, which is the command ID, and type, and this is going to be just that, right? So that's a fixed size, and then we will say hash define command like faith command body size max, which will be like 512 for now, and then hash define faith envelope client to server command body size oh, body size fix is here, and fix is also here. Fixed And so that's the fixed size, and that's the body size max, right? And it will be body size of so let's actually make it like that. So it will be body size of faith envelope body size fixed plus faith command body size max. But this is more like payload size max, so we cannot really, you know, get those messed around. And all right, so this is going to be the max payload size that we can bear. Command payload, right? And for the result, we just have the accepted or rejected, the type of the command. Right, easy. All right, so let's have server to client command result body size fixed, which will be command ID, and command ID is actually, by the way, do we even have command body size? Command ID is just not the case, so it's actually where's the 16 here? It's actually that size, and the type is that, and command ID in here is also that, the type, and then I think we had the also UNT for the result. Right, nice. And yeah, that's it. So that's the command result body size fixed, and it's not fixed because it's always the same, so we can just say body size. And okay, nice. And I think now we can leave that alone, put it like that. Yeah, let me put that in here. All right. Noise. Let me quickly drink something. Oh yeah. Right. So for the command body, we want it to not be less than faith command body. Are you fucking serious? Can it not just work? Ah, okay. Is it? Wait, so faith envelope. Okay, so we just don't specify server to client or client to server, or do we? Wait, so yeah, here we do, but in protocol.h we just don't really, or what? Protocol.c envelope hello. Okay, and those are not really specified. So hello body size is going to be hello envelope client to server, and that's going to be hello challenge, so server to client, and this will need updating, so hello client to server, server to client, I guess. Okay, and this will also need updating, so client to server, server to client, server to client, hello, server to client, and envelope hello challenge, server to client. Hello Chad. What do you mean? My name is Coco Cry, man, not Chad. but welcome to the stream. So that's going to be that, and yeah, then we, oh my god, Selenium. Okay. Client to server, client to server, client to server, to server, server to client, server to client, server to client, server to client. Okay, and then the decode prolog will be envelope, client to server, command is client to server, command body size fixed, and it should be not less than, right? Use of undeclared identifier payload size. Okay, because it's a deload, so a decode. So encode prolog, encode prolog. And okay, encode prolog already does less than always, so that makes sense. So it cannot be less than that. But if in dot payload size is greater than, if in dot payload size is greater than the faith command payload size max, then we will also say return faith error bad envelope or something. What do we return? Overflow? Yeah, overflow makes sense. So return faith error overflow. And okay, now we basically enforced everything. So let's try and decode that. So it's going to be a command, and let's put it somewhere here so we can see, and append. Yeah. Let's just copy all of those because I think they're good and needed. So basically first we need to append into in command dot, so in command ID, right? We want to append command ID bytes, right? So that kind of makes sense. Passing to parameter of incomplete type const voids. So we'll need bytes. So we want to read 16 bytes of the buffer into the command ID bytes. And the next thing is encoding the type, which is in type. And we will have, yeah, we cannot cast that because we're reading it into it. So, and then the payload. So we just check if in payload size is greater than 0. We want to allocate the payload. So payload size is greater than 0. Right, so the payload is already allocated in here. Decode frame, okay. So let me see, where do we use encode frame? Payload is equal to payload, and payload is right frame sync, so right frame sync. And payload is already in here, like allocated. All right, so that makes sense. So let's just literally copy that. And yeah, but we also have to write the payload size now. So payload size greater 0. Wait, we don't write the payload size at all? Message retracted, okay. Wait, so why don't we write the payload size in here? That's kind of really sus, right? So do we read the payload size? No. So there's some other. Okay, we actually don't read the payload size, but old payload size equal to frame. Okay, yeah, I see. Okay. Minus frame. So that's a weird thing. AUR is under attack. I don't know. Is it? I have no idea. So we should probably just write the payload size before the actual size. So yeah. But it should be like size prefixed or stuff like that. Yeah. This is so complex. How long have you been working on this? About 1.5 months now. But it's really complex, yeah. Thank you for someone acknowledging that. Right. So how do we want to figure out the payload size if it's dynamic, you know? We cannot just shove it in front, or essentially, yeah, so if we want to encode it, we want to write the bytes, but in here we just encode payload size, and here we just write more bytes. But yeah, we definitely need to check if it's able to hold the fixed size plus the specified payload size, right? So it needs to hold that. And then there's something like epilogue dyn. I don't even know what I was cooking up there. Like I literally forgot. So what is epilogue dynamic? Epilogue dynamic. So decode epilogue probably doesn't take an assign. It does take an assign. So what's the issue here? Ah. All right. So this checks the exact size as well. So it doesn't need to be the exact size. Right. But I don't really think we need that in here. So let's just say it's not even a encoding. So encode epilogue. And we want to have like written those like that many bytes. If we didn't write that many bytes, then we're kind of cooked. And that's the encoder, right? So that's the encoder. Yeah, now to that. So it's actually fucking just the same structure. Interesting. Okay. Decode prolog. Yeah, and we want it to be at least that many bytes. So at least. And faith equals epilogue. So what does that do again? So if the expected size, okay, wait. So this checks if the offset is right. So payload size is a different thing than the envelope size, and the envelope size is okay. So what is the envelope size? Is the envelope size in the? I think it's in the. Okay, so decode epilogue would check. Oops. Sorry. My microphone. Decode epilogue size, like epilogue, right? Will check if the offset is less than the payload size, but that's not what we want. That's not really what we want. or the envelope size. So yeah, let's just have them. And then let's say envelope client to server command size body max. By the way, max so dünn. Right, it's literally called like that, isn't it? What? DNY, bro. No way. DNY. Right. So we have to have written or like decoded at least the header. Okay, I see. And in here, we have to have decoded at least the fixed size. So command body seems fixed. And at least. So IP, yeah. At least, right? So use of undeclared identifiers offset, right? So how did you pick up networking though? Because I am sick of having to use messengers that are either lacking in functionality or in privacy. So yeah. Hi, kind of different question. How does one learn to make readable or just nicer code? And if there are any usual calling conventions so they don't just call stuff in their code something dumb? Yeah, so like you have to specify like your own conventions, kind of. For example, for the envelopes, you know, I have like this convention of having like always like them prefix with envelope and then either server to client or client to server, you know, and then like with writing clean code, I don't know, so you can write code however you want and it can be clean, so there's no like real definition, you know. But readable code, kind of tough, to be honest. Kind of hard sometimes. But I think maintainable code is the better code than like readable code most of the time. Yeah. But actually, writing readable code is kind of insane. I don't know. Yeah. This is a decode return. So we basically want to decode into the command ID the first command ID bytes. And then we want to decode a U32BE, right? Payload size, probably, I guess. What does it take? Offset, and it should take out command ID, not out command, out type. Assignment to cast is illegal. All right, so here we obviously assign, and then here we don't assign. So yeah, got those mixed up. Right, so like that, and then we want to decode out payload size, and if out payload size is greater than 0, then we want to malloc out payload size, out payload. So where do we malloc? Here, so we can literally copy it. And then into plus offset basically, and there's going to be payload size, and yeah. So we definitely have to check if out payload size is greater than faith command payload size max return faith error bad envelope, right? Because you could then just fucking bomb the entire server. Do we check that with Bro, do we not check that? No way. Yeah, we check that. Nice. Okay, good. Right, so those are those. And then finally to the next one. Command results. I love writing codec code. It's really amazing. So, bro, I lost it here. Okay. Command result. All right, so let's just copy command and say command result. And the size is always the same, so that's easy. And we don't have to check all of those. And we can just append in here and do that, and also just do the result. So yeah, and that's it. So that's this encoder, and we want to see if it's not equal to exactly that. And we want to return faith. Okay, by the way. Okay, and with the decoder, let's just copy that again. And we'll have the not equal, not equal. And we want to have result. Okay, and now the event body, we have data here again, so we can just copy it again. We can literally just copy that, so like this, and we will say command, so event body size, what is served client, of course, and this is going to be plus in data size in. So we don't really need a max. We don't really feel like enforcing a max on ourselves, you know. So let's not do it. Okay. So in, and what do we have? So we definitely want to have the same order. So let's copy the struct and see what we have. So we first have the command ID. That doesn't make sense. Let's have this. So we first have the sequence ID, sequence number. And so let's encode the sequence number. So in sequence number. Then we have the type. So let's encode the type. We don't want to cast that down, so that doesn't make sense at all. But here we can just have the type and have so fucking type. And if the data size, do we encode the payload size? Yeah, we do. Okay, nice. Not bad. All right, so if the data size is greater than 0, but we first have to actually encode the data size. But do we first specify the data size and then the data? I think we do. So we definitely do. So I think just because of that, it's worth doing that. So data size. So just that the intent is going to be more clear. It's also like that with the envelopes. Yeah, we should have payload size be a fate body size t, by the way. Also that. And yeah, so that's basically the case. So in data size, and if the data size is greater than 0, then we will say that we want to append into data size bytes and encode epilogue with this plus data size. Right, cool. And then for the decoder, let's steal our own code in here and have the same for the decoder. So that's going to be event body size, event body. Okay, so sequence num. Sequence num, is it? No. Yeah. So sequence num and then type. And then we have the data size. And in here, okay, I think casting to a uint32t is valid, like is actually good yeah, code essentially, because while this is a uint32t, it can change theoretically, so casting still makes sense. Yeah, we don't need that. That's going to be body or like data size, data size, data size. Still have one error left. Okay, this makes sense. Cool. Okay, so those are the encoders and decoders, so codec. And by the way, let's actually compile. Seems to be compiling, okay. And by the way, let us remove the currently unused envelopes. For example, all of those. So message deliver is literally not used. I mean, grep -rn it message deliver and source. Yeah, it's not used. So like it's definitely useful and we should use it, but it's not used. So we should remove it for now, right? So all of this essentially should be gone. Does it still build? I think it just still builds, right? Okay, and in protocol we added this, so let's actually have a separate command for that. Event command codec. Git add dot git commit sham feature added command and event to protocol codec. Git push u. Okay, so we push that. So let's quickly have the pull request accepted. And envelope command results and to the protocol, including their respective codec. Okay, thought they had no thing. Okay, adds to the protocol, including their respective codec functions. Cool. Create pull request. By the way, the CI doesn't pass, so I just don't tick it and move on. Who started that? So all of you, you're fucking based, and yeah. Okay. Now that we have the possibility of doing that, we should have a client function. You're a cool dude. Thank you, man. We should have a client function to essentially send a command. So let's have a static function to do that. So static faith status code static create send command. Yeah, and it will take in the client, and it will take in a command T. Is there not something like that? Faith envelope command. Wait, is there? Right, so the data is unspecified, so that's a thing. So there can be multiple commands, right? Yeah. So we should probably have something like command/command.h, or like maybe like codec and then like By the way, this feels like it should be in like literally it feels like it should be in codec. So okay, let's make a little bit of a refactor. Let's move source/core/envelopes.everything into source/codec. And then there will be problems. So yeah, maybe begin in here. So codec. Cool. Okay, so server, where's server? Is that the only problem? I don't think so. All right, so can we say, can I somehow replace it everywhere? I don't know how to do that with grep actually. Okay. Okay, looking good so far. Oh. Okay, so codec. The client. Right, so envelopes. So okay, they don't even include the core envelopes. Client.h core envelopes, but I'm not doing that. So codec envelopes. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. And dot slash codec. Okay, so codec, right? Slash protocol.h in line 5. It's not there anymore. So yeah, I don't know what you want from him, right? Okay, device link maybe. So core. Okay, so this is failing. Let's say core envelopes will be codec, and then this will be here. Yeah, it was literally just that. Okay. I don't remember, but how did all the elements in your browser lose the rounded corners? Is it something from PCOM or something? It's basically so my config, right? So you can go to cococry/dots, and then you can go to Chrome, and this is my user Chrome and user content, and the thing just does corner border radius 0. Yeah, so that's how I do it. Yeah. Okay, so the thing builds, right? So the thing builds. Yeah, let's have commands.h, and then I can kind of say something like command. So command. Can I not? Right, so here command, and all of the command related things should be so until here they should be inside command.h, and this should go into protocol.h, by the way. And envelopes will just contain this, but not this. So all of right. So this needs to include protocol. Faith envelope is unknown. Ah, that's bad. That's bad. So, I see. So yeah. So I guess, yeah. How do we want to resolve this issue? I don't know. Maybe put it in some separate file like core.h, and like there, this there, and then, you know, include that one. So oops. Core.h, and so this is event, and where's the event? Here is the event, but let's remove all of the, not this. So this, put it into commands, put a hash pragma once in here, and so this is still here. Okay, I guess. Command payload size and command body size marks are still here. Okay. Oh, are you still working on Ragnar? Because I'm thinking of trying it and switching to it eventually. It's not really maintained, to be honest, because it's kind of working for me as intended. But you can switch to it, of course. So it's like all of the normal tiling window manager features are there, and yeah. So I'm not really working on it actively though. You can do that. You can do that even if you install my separate project, which is here. But you can do that on any window manager. So let me actually look at that project. Looper. Yeah, it's basically my implementation of a zoom for X. It's like really, really cool because it's literally very usable. So in every scenario. But yeah. Hi guys, what's up? The static noise. What's up? What's up? Where's events envelope? Where is that? So do we lose that, or is it just in commands? Yeah, it's just in commands. All right, so that, and then command body size will be removed. This will be removed, and we will put that into commands. This will be here, and this will be a uint8t, not a uint. This was literally oh, okay. That's the end. And what is that? Command result. So those will be inside of commands. Faith body size. So we need to include core, and this will only have the envelope for an event, right? Maybe put the unrelated event thing a little bit down here because they're not that important. And yeah. So, and then in commands, we can have a type def. And we don't really need some data, you know, for the first command, which is like creating a conversation. But we kind of need to, because we need like a separate person to have it with, at least one. So, yeah. Where is, let's have a type def struct faith command create conversation t. I've been using DWN for 2 months, hoping to learn C and then understand its codebase lyric, and I can also build my own, but wanted to try something new as well. Yeah, and so I don't know, like writing a X window manager is definitely a cool thing. Love your wimp. Thank you, man. So creating a conversation, right? So you have to have like some kind of people that you want to talk to. So yeah, let's have a fake client IDT. By the way, client ID is a very bad name. So can we just replace that altogether? We have to. So let me just ask ChatGPT. Rare occasion on the stream, but how do I replace every occurrence of X occurrence with Y when with grep? in a directory with recursive directory enabled. So let's see. Actually, okay. On Linux, how do I do that? Not related to grep. Find with send. Okay. So X is going to be faith client IDT, and Y is going to be faith auth IDT. And path to directory is going to be source. Okay, let's go into bash and somehow copy that. Like that. Unterminated S commands. Why? Thank you. Oh my god. Okay, so is it changed? Is it changed? So it said something. No. Auth ID. Thank you. Okay, so commands, and is there the command just didn't. Okay, never mind. Let's say faith command conversation. Faith command create conversation team, and it will have a faith auth IDT. So I want to, bro. Where is auth ID defined even? I don't know. In auth structs, I guess. Auth structs and faith auth IDT. Oh, bro. Auth IDT? It's here. So why don't you give me autocomplete? Did you mean auth IDT? Faith auth IDT. Conversant or something like that. Is this a thing in English? Yeah, but the problem is that you should be able to have a list of people you want to invite, you know? I really love your work and would appreciate more streams or at least videos in a week or so. I have been watching your videos since August last year, and you are who inspired me to learn C. That's amazing, man. For real. Like, just to inspire you, that's amazing. Yeah. But I don't know about making videos because kind of like if I have an idea, I will make a video about it. But yeah. So my question is, okay, let's keep it simple. Let's just have one conversant, right? Or like one. I think conversant is okay. It sounds a little bit weird, but apparently it's a word. So let's have that command, and we also, by the way, need a way to encode commands. So that's amazing, right? So cool. We can, yeah, nice. Unknown type name. Okay, because we have to include commands. Okay, so let's have the encoder and decoder of something at least, and then go into here and say encode CMD, create conversation. Conflicting types. What? Oh, what? What's your problem? Structs. Conflicting types for create conversation. Okay, so do I have it multiple times or like? I think it's only once there. Like, you know, create conversation. Yeah, looks like it's only once. Intrigued. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Conflicting. So type def. I'm like faith command create. It's like a normal type def for the struct, right? Maybe core uses it. No. Is it like a problem with my? Okay, this includes core and core crypto. So that shouldn't be a problem. Is it like literally a problem with my Vim? Let's see. Bro. Conflicting types. Wait, okay, conversation. Wait. Conversation with. Bruh. Okay. Do you work a job or go to college? I work a job. I will go to college in later this year, basically in the winter semester. So yeah, but it's university in here, so yeah. Let's have a encode prologue. So encode prologue. Hello. Bash includes helpers, and the encode prologue will just take in an envelope size, which is envelope. Actually not. You know, actually not. It's not an envelope size. It is the size of a specific command. So yeah, let's have hash define faith command create conversation body size faith body size, and it's going to be just size of faith. It's going to be size faith client. Bro, I think we have it's not really a problem, but you know, client ID size, yeah, it's a problem. So let's fix it by saying faith client ID size is going to be faith auth ID size. Did it do it? It didn't, right? Client ID size, the auth ID size. So did it do anything? No. Okay, auth ID size. Nice. That looks much more mature, this auth thing, you know. Envelopes, commands. Okay, so basically faith auth ID size. Okay, we need to quickly reopen the thing. Faith command create conversation body size is going to be faith body size of 36. Then faith encode prologue. hash include helpers. I kind of have a deja vu, you know. Encode prolog with faith command create conversation body size, and encode epilogue body size not equal size t offset is equal to 0. The return. It's more like append. And we will say, okay, before we can still do it, let's say conservant ID, or like conversant, and return faith. Okay, decode prolog with, it should be exactly this size. And do we have some decode epilogue less than, not really less than, not equal, and decode return. We will take the conservant ID bytes. Term faith. Okay. And then the client can try and send a frame containing a command. Okay, so send command, and then what kind of command? It's just going to be UNLT payload size t payload size, and this is going to send an envelope. Do I have something to send an envelope? Envelope. Handle envelope. Send envelope. Great. So let's put that up here somewhere. And let's have that be client send command, just to go with the lore, you know. And then let's have a faith envelope, command envelope is equal to 0, and then it's not client, or then return faith error invalid. And the command envelope dot type is going to be faith envelope command, and the command envelope dot sender ID is going to be, I think that's already, is it though? So send envelope, no. Okay, so sender ID is equal to client ident auth ID. Command envelope dot hello boss, welcome H8D13, welcome, a member even, right? So type sender ID body is going to be payload, and command envelope, not really, you know. So what we need to do is to actually create a command. So let's have something like faith encode command body, and outbuff will be actually command envelope dot body, and this will be command envelope dot, I see. Okay, so that's kind of interesting. Wait, so how do we do with that? We have the body, we encode it into here, and then we assign it. Okay, so that's good, cool. So what we will need is something like body is equal to malloc, right? And then the size of an actual command, which is faith command, faith envelope, client to server command body size t fixed plus the payload size. And by the way, we want to check the data size. So size t data size is equal to that, like command data size, and then if command data size is greater than faith faith command payload size max. But okay, it's actually only the payload. All right, I guess. Let's still have that. If the payload size is less than that, we will say fake error overflow. Might have sent PR on Ragnar, caused I struggled to build it, but now works like a charm. You sent a PR actually? Holy side quest. Let's look at that. Is replace placeholder. In replace placeholder. According to C32 needs to be. I see. Meanwhile, the loop below it, I think, might have leaks. Signed to modifiers and never freed. Adapted in the same first commit. Fixed pattern. Added a small note to read me about default apps that Ragnar expects all of them. Kind of stuck step tests in a fresh Arch Linux bug. Okay, let's see. Do a files changed here? Okay, that like the thing probably makes sense because like when was this, like fucking 3 years ago? Yeah, I think I have to bro. Okay, I have to like look at that off stream before I accept that probably. But very cool. Nice. Thank you, man, for contributing that. Right, so we want to allocate the data size for the envelope body, and this will go into body, and then if not body, we will say return faith error no memory, and then in here we do something like faith status code tdr fh result is equal to faith okay, and then turn faith okay, defer return fh result free body fh check defer body, and then what's that, out size, so body size t returned data size is equal to 0, and then we say and returned data size, and this is going to be command data size. By the way, we kind of need to cast that. I think we need to cast that. No, actually not. Okay, so and then what in is going to be the command. So let's construct that. Faith envelope server to client command client to server command T cmd is equal to and then in here we can specify the payload size, and we will just use them like this. Faith command type, because kind of expect that those pointers will keep alive until we actually have sent the command over the wire. Yeah. Type and then payload size and command ID. All right, so we need to client generate that, right? So maybe we actually want to do it the old way and have dot replaced by command dot and comma replaced by that. And then we say faith random voids check return with command dot command ID command dot command ID dot bytes dot bytes. Yeah. All right, so that and yeah, okay, cool. This is going to be commands. And then we need to send the shit. So now we have constructed the envelope. But we actually have to also construct the frame that we are sending this. But I think this is already done for us in client send envelope. So yeah, now we can actually just send it. Command envelope. SSL. Okay, interesting. Let's just pass the client SSL. And FH check defer that. Right. Okay, now we should be able to send commands. So let's have a function like faith client create conversation with another auth IDT conservant. Right. And okay. And this will just do client send command client. Payload is going to be uint payload, or like, yeah, payload, which will be faith command create this size is equal to 0, and then fh check return faith decode encode command create conversation into payload. Payload size is equal to 0 and payload size buff caps and bytes as payload in is going to be what? So okay, so this is going to be faith command create conversation commands equal to dot conservant ID is equal to conservant, and this is going to be the command. And payload size is actually a faith body size. Interesting. Okay, and then nice. Then we can just send the command with fh check return. Yeah, so payload size, but we should check if payload size does not equal size of payload, return faith error invalid, and type is going to be faith command create conversation. And this is going to return faith okay if everything succeeded. And we can say if g verbose logging or log enable tracing, no block info client successfully sent command create conversation servant ID is equal to that, and then from hex no ID 282 hex like that, and we will say auth ID hex, and this is going to be conservant want to conservant ID.bytes and auth ID hex, and that's going to be auth ID hex. Great. So now we can handle it in the server by firstly just checking, okay, in the dispatcher. So we can see by the way, did we correctly have the envelope type set? So send command is an envelope type of command. Great. Okay, so dispatch now also checks case that, and then let's just for now let's just chill and just do printf received a command from le client, right? And in here we where is the focus test here? In the test we can just say if we get an authorized event, so case faith event authorized, we will client faith client create conversation. So we want to create the conversation with the client and the conservant, and if arc C is greater than 1, so we already have the recipient ID essentially. So recipient ID greater or equal to 2. Okay, let's say that greater or equal to 2. Then that's going to be the recipient ID, and we're going to create a conversation with them if we specified some recipients, right? Pretty basic. Okay. Great. So does it build? It does not. Did you mean so event body size fixed in protocol? Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was definitely here. So events envelope, event body size fixed. Yeah, we just lost it. Great. So this should not be here, and in commands, it's probably just in commands, right? So command conversation result command event body size fixed. So command body size. Okay, bro. So that's insane. So this is going to be command body size fixed. And in envelopes, we have that back. So yeah. So client IDT is going to be auth IDT. And the faith command, we don't need the faith command. We don't need that, and we don't need the command result. We just need the event, and that's what we only have right now. So, and we also don't need that, by the way. So, okay. Undefined reference to create conversation. Encode command create conversation. Okay, because we don't specify it in the build. We literally don't build it. So, by the way, there is probably some thing going on with core envelopes. No? Envelopes? Yeah, look, core envelopes. And it should be codec envelopes. Codec envelopes. Codec. Okay, so then what we want is a where's commands in codec? Okay, so we want codec slash commands. And now we want codec commands and codec commands should also be inside of the test. Multiple definition of event name, client reconnect, client deny. Okay, so those are all these crypto things. Where is my crypto? I think we will need crypto. So crypto, yeah, we use crypto. So codec protocol.o and core crypto. Weird. So we have crypto, by the way. Core crypto. Is there something off with crypto? Probably the ordering is wrong and that's why it happened. Right. If I completely remove that. Yeah. So envelopes, where's envelopes? Then we have commands, so it's actually correct ordering. But in here it's not correct. So, oh my god. Clanker time. Order these correctly. Okay, so undefined reference to like they were all incorrect. Okay, no matter what, the what we yeah. So let's have codec slash helpers. Let's have commands before helpers. Commands before helpers, and then helpers will be codec commands.o. And in here we will take in codec commands.o. Should be as simple as that. Bro. Multiple definitions. Okay, I see. So encoded commands, they are multiply defined, or what are you talking about? Encode, decode. Encode, decode. What? So when I don't specify it, right? When I simply leave it out, it wants them. But if I specify it, it doesn't want them anymore, and it's too much for it. So very interesting. So are there multiple definitions of that? Grep, the run, that, that, and source. So there are multiple definitions of that. But there are not multiple definitions of that, essentially. So okay, so it's somehow linking the file twice, right? So it's linking the file twice, but why? Source codec commands. Commands. Bro, oh my god, bro, why? What is the why? The clanker did that. It was not even my thing. This happens when you incorporate AI into your project, by the way. You just get, oh my god, bro, they added, literally, they added the command.o twice. So they edited it and I added it again because I thought they didn't have it. Color scheme, it's my custom color scheme is called Blood Void, and it's here. GitHub.com CocoCrate dots. You can find it in my NVim folder. That's the color scheme. Yeah. Okay, so protocol, then commands. Cool. Protocol, then commands. Cool. No child process. Could not wait on command. No such file or directory. Envelopes. Right, so it's not core envelopes, it's codec envelopes. And core envelopes is codec envelopes. And core envelopes is codec envelopes. Okay. Right, and in here we can now say that we want codec commands. Finally, bro. Oh my god. No, faithd does the server crash? It doesn't crash. Am I able to just, okay, I can just normally, right, connect the client, they get authorized, handshake happens, protocol still works, the heartbeat also appears to work, right? So, and then we kind of want to send them a conversation create command. And we get error overflow. Command create conversation, client send command. Right. Insufficient destination capacity. Buffer append failed. Remaining 12. Capacity 36, offset 24. In payload, outbuff, in protocol 595. Okay, so 595, and it's trying to encode a command body, and it only had okay. So the payload size appears to be, so buff cap and bytes appears to be wrong, right? So payload size, due to payload size, and where do we encode? So we encode in here with command data size, which is the header size plus the payload size. So and the fixed size is command ID and type, which is 16 and 4. So do they, what is that? 16, 4, but also payload size. So I see, okay, so there's the error. Right, so the fixed size should also accommodate for the payload size. So it should also do a plus size of uint or faith body size, basically. And this is going to be payload size. And I think the same is true for events. So in question, what is the status bar external from Ragnar? It's Boron, yes, Boron. But a very specific commit of Boron, like the bar is and literally a lost media essentially. Like you have to like dig through multiple repositories because like I was writing this retain mode UI framework, Rave, and it is not committed with the bar, and you have to sync, like you have to find out what commit of the bar corresponds to what commit of Rave and where is the API correct, you know? And it's like an insane yeah, it's basically fully insane, yeah. But I think in my dots I have that perfectly linked. So actually, yeah. So this is basically this Boron with the correct version of Rave. So it should work, actually. Yeah. But it's still, yeah, like that kind of thing. But the bar is like pretty cool. I mean, do you see that animation when you switch things, or in here? There's like this animation, and yeah, it's like pretty cool and stylable and stuff. Okay, so I wanted to go into envelopes, go into the event body size, and the event surely has data size. Right, so let's have plus size of faith body size t, which is data size. And okay. And bro, what are they doing there? They're like, my neighbors are doing some stuff. Let me quickly check. So command result, payload size, looks good. Okay, let's rebuild. Done. Faith. That's sweet. Auth ID. So event authorized, successfully send command, create conversation. Received a command from the client. Great. Now, can we maybe decode that command? So I think this is where I will end today's session. Then I actually achieved a very good goal, you know? So if we would be able to do that. So let's maybe, so there is like, let's have oh. Okay, thank you, bro. I thought I was like, I had like removed the source directory or something. Bro, I'm so confused with coding. Now I want to start, but I get paralyzed every time, every move I want to start. Do you use AI when you code? Also, I'm pretty sure you use Linux, right? It's so confusing. Do I need to move to Linux? Bro, it's like your choice. Like literally, nobody forces you to like change your desktop or anything like that. But for AI, it's like, yeah, like use it if you are not competent at coding. So it's pretty easy to get into coding, I guess, because now you can just don't code and yeah. Would be cool for Ragnar to support a default basic one and plug in external ones in config. It would be. Yeah. Maybe you can add a pull request. It is not confusing. Doesn't matter the operating system. You learn the basics of a language and then to write something with it. Usually something when you find interesting, then continue from there. Yeah, true. You gotta have Doomer syndrome. AI bad. Yeah, it's okay. It's okay. Save the water. But do you use AI? I mean, I just literally used, like, go back 10 minutes in the stream. I used ChatGPT to order my build and I lost like 15 minutes. Okay, not 15, but like at least 5 minutes just from doing that. And if I would have done it myself, it would be like a 30-second thing. So I use AI, but I don't know if it's a good thing. Yeah. But I don't really use AI, but I just, used it in the stream, so you can look it up. But it's like every time I use it, it just fucking explodes and everything doesn't work and Okay, let's have conversation commands. And conversation commands include something like auth. I don't know, conversation.h, right? So conv. I think that's a good name. Okay, so faith status code. Yeah, let's copy that from here. So like that. Conv handle create conversation. And it will take in all of those, and let's have the include mirrored and have on.c And handling that will be as easy as including that, doing this, doing that, and yeah, so we kind of want all of those things before we actually handle it. So we want to check if the not challenge response, if the it's actually a fuck. I just realized something. Okay, wait, but it's okay. So we need a faith command T. We're not even talking envelopes anymore. Do we want just to say handlers, you know, because it's like the command handlers? Yeah, naming is the biggest problem in software engineering. So wait. Why the fuck? Ah, codec. Why are you closed, man? Mr. Codec, don't be closed. So codec commands. Literally, is there not a command T? Bro. Right, so there is literally no command T. So this is like the command, you know? Okay. So conversation handlers. And it's going to be commands. Okay, let's close stuff we don't need. I hate having this large source tree. I never find files, even though I'm looking at it. So conversation handlers, right? So conversation handlers, and we want to include handler, and then we can quickly open that, go into Handshake, copy that again because I just removed it, go here and paste it and close it. So that's how you should do that. Okay, if the command type is not equal faith command create conversation, doesn't make sense. Why should we handle it? Go away, basically. If we are or client state does not equal client open, and if not client authorized, return faith error unauthorized. Yeah. But in general, we all like we need a command dispatcher, you know, and yeah. So we need a command dispatcher, and the command dispatcher will then handle the events and stuff. But what's your end goal with coding? Because you're very good. Do you want to build SaaS, be hired at a big company? I really just want to create projects and learn more. Maybe make money out of that. I don't know. Maybe get hired at a big company, but not really, because that's not really what I'm striving for, to be honest. What does pragma1 do? I usually put just if yeah, it's kind of the same thing, just yeah, literally kind of the same thing. Okay. So yeah, handle, create conversation. For now, let's just say we want to decode that. So faith decode command create conversation. We first need to like even decode the envelope. So do we need to, is this, I think those are actually responsible for decoding the envelope. Decode, no, okay, they're not. So let's say decode command body, and it will be, the payload will be, right, so we don't have the payload. Nice. So we actually need the envelope. So faith envelope. We need to go one level, not deeper, but the opposite. No, I don't really know the word. So we want to decode the command body from the envelope, body, envelope body size, and into command. Zero fh check return. Decode command body is probably inside of something like dot slash codec commands. No? Yeah, protocol actually. Okay, interesting. Yeah, makes sense. So where we made conversation. So codec protocol, not envelope. That's a sick Vim config. Thank you, man. But it's not mine. It's just NVChat. So yeah. If that's not a, so at this point the function naming doesn't make sense at all. So this is like, you know, where do I even put that? Because now everything doesn't make sense anymore. So let's say we kind of want to handle, right? So maybe we can still have it like this, but it's like conf dispatch command, right? And then this in here, there will be dispatch.h and handlers.h, and the handlers will actually be the separate handlers for different commands, right? So in here we can just say, okay, not equal to envelope command, and this basically, this dispatch just dispatches the subset of commands that are conversation commands. And that's also kind of weird. That's pretty weird, indeed. So okay, so we will probably need a separate like command dispatcher. So at this point, I think we would need like a folder commands, and we will put move source conversation everything into source commands, and also source slash codec commands dot everything into source commands. Yeah, that's more like it. And then this takes in dot slash codec core, and yeah, right? Kind of not. Okay, that doesn't make sense. Bro, naming is a nightmare. But we need, like, this really doesn't make sense because commands.everything should be in codec, because this is literally codec related, so it's okay. Where's codec? So let's revert that and just have that in commands, right? Okay, and this is just a command dispatcher at this point, so yeah, nice. And then we switch on the command type, and then case faith command create conversation, and then we will dispatch. Okay, so do we need to check anything? Not really. So after that succeeds, the command is in fact correct. I would really like to stay, but it's super late here. I'll try to be here tomorrow. Good night. Oh, I didn't see your message. We're probably already gone, but yeah. Good night, mate. Good night. Right. So, yeah. So what will be like commands that are valid? Like something like, let's have conversation handlers. Okay, so basically my idea is that this is like the central dispatch, and then the subsections of commands will just be in command slash subsection, basically, yeah. And then we will have a handling of the command with the command. So where is our dispatch here? What do we pass? So dispatch envelope, we pass the envelope, the client, and the server. So in here, we should probably pass the server, the client, and the command. Okay, so let's go into here, and then like this is going to be commands, like server dispatch command, basically, and commands dispatch command, I guess. Okay, and this is going to be conversation handle commands. No. This is going to be a conversation handle create conversation. Yeah, that's what I'm after. Okay, now that makes all sense. Right, so that's, and it will take in a faith command. So faith envelope, client to server command T, command envelope. But this is not really the envelope, so that's more like the command, essentially, yeah. So conversation.c hash include conversation.h, create conversation, and then like let's say command, and then we want to decode it further. So if not s or not cl or not cmd, return faith error invalid, but all of the rest is already checked by the overall dispatch. So now we can say faith decode command create conversation from the command payload size, and from the out, which is faith command create conversation, like create conf is equal to 0, like create conf command, and this is going to be and create a conf command, and then finally we can say printf. But by the way, is there command id? Okay, right, so this has to have a valid sender ID. So let's say if gverbose logging, okay, let's include logging. No, like what we need is if the auth ID does not equal to the envelope.send ID, return faith error not or like invalid. auth ID equal, client ID equal. If they are not equal, and this is going to be dot slash so core probably an auth slash structs, right? Command's not found. So auth slash structs and client ID, bro. No, real mate envelopes. So where is client ID equal? Or is there there is not a single header that defines what? Instructor auth structs, so I literally included that. Conversation, dispatch, auth structs. So because okay, I see. Faith client ID equal. So if they're not equal, that's what I wanted to just check, and so that they cannot just lie to us, you know. This is like the main thing we want to do, and yeah, that's like pretty good source of trust. And then we can go in here, just print the conversation ID. So someone wants to chat with, and then somewhere I'm sure that we can get, let's do it on our own. Auth ID hex 33, faith ID 2 hex. Bytes is going to be the create conversation command, that servant ID, and out is going to be auth ID hex, and there's going to be the bytes of that. Then fh check return, and this is going to also be fh check return. And then we can say that they want to chat with them, and they want to chat with auth ID hex. Okay, what do I expect? And then we return faith, okay. And then in the dispatcher, we can just say handle create conversation. We say we want to include conversation, and we say faith handle. No, it's not actually faith, it's part of conf. So conf handle create conversation scl command break default no block error, I don't know. What is the convention? What are we doing even? I don't know. And then like there, I'm sure there's something like grep error and client source. Can I not do that? Like that? Yeah, okay, an auth handshake, for example. So client, right? So basically for printing stuff related to a specific client, I have like this thing. I put it everywhere. So dispatch is going to say something like error, server got invalid command. Like return faith error like invalid essentially, and then return faith, okay. And conflicting types, handle create conversation, handle, okay, so that's not that doesn't make sense. It's that Okay. How do you stay motivated, bro? Genuinely, I've been doing small project like, reverse proxy etc. So I thought I'd try a bigger project like KV Store and feel bored sometimes. Yeah, I don't know. Like I am kind of like what helps for me is like just setting a goal, and like if I don't reach it, I would be like I basically try to like set this goal and then like force me to reach it essentially, and then I maybe reach it, maybe not, but it's hard. Yeah, I know. Work on things you like. Yes. You're gonna add UI later or just CLI application? Bro, we have a full-on source tree that is written in Rust that is the UI layer. That is fully custom, so right, so and it's rendered with Vulkan and a custom text rendering engine in Rust. But yeah, we're not handling UI yet because we have to implement message layer security and our custom binary protocol. So I guess we first have to do that. I know, but I just can't find any that interests me. Makes sense. Yeah, I see that. Okay, we don't need logging in here. Right, so let's call the function, right? So in the server dispatcher, when we have a command, we want to include // commands / dispatch, and then in here we fh check defer server handle command. Hello, command dispatch command. Okay, so dispatch commands dispatch command scl envelope. Okay, so let's try and see if it finally works. Like it did work, but